Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am sharing 5 different dinner ideas. These are all super quick and easy, but they are also very budget friendly and very cheap dinner ideas. So if you're looking for something to help you stick to a tighter budget, I know a lot of us are kind of feeling all of these like inflation prices. The price of groceries is just crazy right now. So I hope that these meals will help you stick to your budget a little bit better because I know it is just crazy expensive right now. So let's go ahead and get into all of these dinner recipes. Alright, so for this first dinner I'm making a baked ziti, and this is something that I make all the time. It's definitely a family favorite and super simple to make. Here I'm just adding in some cooked ground beef. I just had it ready to go in my freezer, so I'm just adding that into a pan, and then I'm adding in just a jar of spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce. Really any sort of red sauce works for this one, whatever your favorite is. I do like to add a little bit of water to get the rest of the sauce out, and then I just mix all of that together. You can add extra seasonings here if you want, like garlic powder, things like that, but I just keep it nice and simple. While my sauce is simmering, I'm just adding in a full box of ziti pasta, and of course I'm going to salt the water, and then I'm just going to cook these pasta noodles as I normally would, cook them all the way through. Once those noodles are done boiling, you're going to drain them off and then add those right back into the pot, and then you're going to top those off with some alfredo sauce. Whatever jarred alfredo sauce works just fine. Of course you could make homemade too, but I'm just trying to keep this really nice and easy. Again, I like to add a little splash of water in there. And then I love to add like garlic powder here or something. I didn't on this night, but you definitely can. It adds a little bit of extra flavor, but I'm just mixing all of that in there, and then we're going to get ready to layer all of this together. I always like to start off by spraying my baking dishes. Now you'll see that I'm actually adding this into 2 baking dishes just because this makes such a huge amount of food. So one of these I actually kept at home, and then one of them I brought to a friend's house. But you're basically just going to layer all of this together. So you can see I'm adding in the noodles with the alfredo sauce on first, and then I will go ahead and add a layer of the red sauce and the meat mixture, and then I'm going to top it off with some mozzarella cheese, and you're just going to keep layering that until everything is done. I usually will do about 2 layers. If you want to, you can do a 3rd layer, just depending on how much you have, but this is one of those dishes that I really like to break up into 2 batches. You can also freeze it if you want to, but more often than not, we will just eat it up as leftovers throughout the week. This is one of those dishes that I will often find myself taking to somebody's house who has had a baby, or if I want to prep a meal earlier in the day for dinner, like if we're going to be gone and I just need something to throw in the oven later that evening. This is a really great one for that just because it stores really well in the fridge, and then you can just pop it in the oven a little bit later on. I like to add a little bit of aluminum foil to the top just so it doesn't get dried out while it's cooking. And then I would say put this in the oven at 375 degrees for probably about 30-ish minutes, just depending on the oven and also the temperature of the sauce and everything. But just cook it until everything is heated through, and this is a really yummy, quick and easy dinner. For this next dinner, I'm making a super easy chicken salad sandwich. Obviously, this is something very basic, and it's also very quick and easy for lunch. I love to have this prepped and ready to go in my fridge. But here I'm just shredding up some chicken that I had made in my crock pot. I love to just throw in a big package of chicken breasts in there. I cook them on high for about 4 hours. Once they're done, I just shred them up with the hand mixer, and then I will portion this chicken out into freezer Ziplocs, throw it in my freezer, and it makes it super easy for meals later on. Or if I want to do something like this, chicken salad sandwiches, throw it onto salads, whatever. So I just label those bags, and then I'm going to fill them up, and then we're going to get started on making the chicken salad. This is actually a pre-filmed video. This was when I was still pregnant with my son. He is now almost 4 months old, which is crazy, but I had a lot of freezer meals prepped for him. I actually have a full freezer meals video coming out here very soon, but this was one of the things that I did go ahead and prep, and it came in so handy after I had him. I was so busy, and it was just nice to have a really quick and easy protein to add. So this is one of those things that's really easy to just go ahead, prep, have it on hand, and I promise you will thank yourself later. So for my chicken salad, I do like to keep it pretty simple. I just add in some mayo, a little bit of mustard. Now I don't have exact measurements for you, but this is what I do. I just add in a little bit of salt and pepper to taste, some chopped onion. I would say probably like a quarter of an onion. This is 2 chicken breasts in here. And then I'm mixing that all together, and then I was trying to skip adding in celery because I didn't feel like chopping it up, because sometimes I'm lazy too, but it just did not taste right without the celery. So I ended up adding in some celery as well as some more chopped onion because it just needed a little bit more flavor. Now, if you are somebody who likes grapes in your chicken salad, go ahead and add those in there. I just personally don't really like grapes in mine. I don't like the sweetness. I'm not really a sweet and savory type of girl, so I really just add everything to taste here. Taste it as I go, and then you have a really yummy chicken salad sandwich. This next recipe is going to be a chicken zucchini casserole. Now this is one of the only ways that my husband will actually eat zucchini, and he doesn't complain about it, and he actually likes it in this recipe. So I'm starting off by cutting up 2 zucchinis. The recipe actually calls for 4 zucchinis, but I think that's just way too many. So I will usually use 2 zucchinis for this recipe, and I feel like it's absolutely perfect. I mean, if you really love zucchini, go ahead and add in all 4, or you could add in 3. But personally, I think 2 is about right for this recipe. So I'm just getting all of those chopped up. And then I'm also going to be cutting up an onion. So you're going to want probably about half a cup to a cup of onion, just depending on how much you like. Now into a 9x13 baking dish, I'm just taking this box of chicken stuffing mix. A generic box is totally fine for this one. Go ahead and dump that in there, and then you're gonna add in half a cup of melted butter and get all of that mixed together. Now you are gonna set aside a little bit of this mixture for the top. The recipe called for about a half cup. I personally like to do a little bit more. I probably set aside about a cup, and then you're just gonna leave the rest of that in a dish. Of course, you can mix all of this in a bowl, but I am just trying to save on dishes where I can. And then I'm just dumping in a little bit of shredded chicken, probably about 2 to 3 chicken breasts. I'm adding that zucchini in there along with those chopped onions. And then I'm going to add in a can of cream of chicken soup, as well as about half a cup of sour cream. I'm just eyeballing it here. And then I'm adding in a little bit of salt and pepper. Don't do too much salt, just because you already have salt in the cream of chicken as well as in the stuffing mix. Then I'm just mixing all of this together. Once it's mixed, you're going to top it with the leftover stuffing mix, and that is really it. You're ready to bake it in the oven. You're going to want to bake this in a 350-degree oven for about 40 to 50 minutes until the crust is nice and golden brown on top where that stuffing was. This is such a delicious dinner and super quick and easy to throw together. For this next dinner, I am making something that I have shared on this channel before. This is Crockpot Mississippi chicken. It's a pretty affordable meal because you can usually get chicken thighs for pretty cheap, but here I'm just starting off with a package of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can use chicken breasts for this recipe and then just shred them up. You can really make any chicken work for this one, but this is definitely my favorite. I'm adding in about half a package of a jus gravy mix, half a package of ranch seasoning mix. I tend to not add the full package just because it gets a little bit too salty for me. And then I add just a couple pats of butter. You can add a little bit more or a little bit less, just depending on your preferences. And then same with these pepperoncini peppers. I usually add about 4 to 5 and then just a little splash of juice. You're gonna cook this on high for about 4 hours. Serve it over rice or pasta or potatoes, and this is one of our family favorites. For this next dinner, I am making a tomato, basil, and chicken in the Crockpot. This one was delicious. I will definitely be making it again. I'm just spraying my Crockpot with olive oil, and then I'm adding in 1 can of diced tomatoes with Italian herbs. And then I'm adding in about a cup of just regular pasta sauce. I used the mushroom one. Add that right in there. And then you're gonna want to add in about half a teaspoon of dried basil. Give that a quick mix together. And then into a separate dish, I just used a measuring cup. This is 3/4 cup of heavy cream, and I'm just adding in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to make a little slurry and mix all of that together. Once you have that slurry together, you're just gonna add it into your crock pot, give that a mix together, and then you're gonna be adding in all of the different seasonings. I'm gonna have this recipe linked down below, but the recipe basically calls for minced garlic. You're gonna want some salt, some dried basil, black pepper, and then I did also choose to add in some Italian seasoning. I read the comments on this recipe and it sounded like it was a little on the bland side, so I added in some extra basil, and then I also added in extra Italian seasoning. Then you're just gonna add in your chicken breast. You can use 3 to 4 for this recipe, and I felt like that was about perfect. And then you're just gonna cook this on high for about 4 hours until your chicken is fully cooked through. After that chicken is fully cooked through, you can just go ahead and either slice it up or shred it and then just serve it over rice or pasta, potatoes. I chose to serve it over some spaghetti noodles and it was really good that way. I did also top it with some Parmesan, but I will definitely be making this dinner again. Alright you guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!